Aloha mai kako. My name is David Lassner, and I serve as the president of the University of Hawaiʻi, leading our 10-campus system and our flagship University of Hawaiʻi at Manoa. We serve these islands, which are the ancestral home of the Kanaka Maoli, or Native Hawaiian people. My own ancestry involves centuries of wandering, but I am now privileged to make my home in lush Waiomau within Palolo Valley, in the Ahupua'a of Waikiki, within the Moku of Kona on the island of Oahu. I am personally grateful to this place and her people, both of which have embraced me for over 4 decades. Over 125 years ago, Queen Liliuokalani yielded the Hawaiian Kingdom and these territories under duress and protest to the United States to avoid the bloodshed of her people. And it was nearly 30 years ago that the U.S. government formally apologized for this act, which it has acknowledged as an illegal overthrow. As the only public institution of higher education in Hawaii, the University of Hawaii is strategically clear in our commitment to become a model indigenous serving institution, committed to the sustainability of Hawaii's people, islands, language, culture, and knowledge. This strategic imperative is named Hawaii Papaokeao, or the Hawaii Foundation of Enlightened Knowledge. So today I welcome you all, and I offer up an invitation to join us in celebrating the University of Hawaii's ongoing contributions to the advancement of indigenous Hawaiian knowledge. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako. I am Mainette Kapiahiokalani Patakinani Benham, Chancellor of the University of Hawaii West Oahu and co-chair of Hawaii Papaokeao, with Chancellor of Maui College, Dr. Louis Hokoana. Hawaii Papaokeao was established in January 2012 and consists of representatives from all 10 campuses. The purpose of this presidentially appointed committee is to set goals and objectives to address the higher education needs of Native Hawaiians through 3 pathways: leadership development, community engagement, and Hawaiian language and cultural parity. At our first meeting this school year, our discussions focused on how our Native Hawaiian students, faculty, and staff and their families were managing this challenging time. Committee members shared that folks on their campus were feeling isolated, disconnected, and depressed due to the psychosocial, emotional, and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we asked, what could Hawaii Papaokeao do? And after some discussion led by Tapori Tangaro, representative from Hawaii Community College, we decided that we wanted to address indigenous well-being through the nourishment that can be found in the abundant talent and knowledge across our campus communities. Hence, the birth of the inaugural Hawaii Papaokeao series, He Ukana Aloha Kā Kīlauea. Mahalo for joining us today, and we hope to see you and your family and friends every month through June of 2021 as we lovingly share this makana with you. E nā nea kākou I ka ike kupuna I ho'owili ai mai ki kilo mai. Enjoy and be enriched by the wisdom passed down from our kupuna through so many generations to us today. Aloha.
No tihi la wea te aloha la hanali o ka ke le ta moana la hana holo ma mua holo ma ho pe la hana tau pono tai hui te mata ni la hana mai ki la hue ala vila hana no kamehameha elima.
Hello, Waiʻanae, mō lale I ka la ala pānoa ke kula o ku mano mano. Ku nihi ka noho a mauna lahi lahi hoʻomaha aku I ka wai o lua lua lei. Lei ana nuu anu I ke ka makahala I pauku ia me ka āhihi. I hoʻohi no hoʻi au na'u no hoʻi ʻoe o koʻu kuleana paʻa no ia. He ike haole lulu lima ke aloha e. Aloha mai kākou, and welcome to this installment of He Ukana Aloha Kā Kīlauea. My name is Christopher Pokipala, and I'm a counselor here at Lyric Community College, Waiʻanae Moku, and a proud kupa of this aina. We're excited for you to be here today to listen to our mo'olelo of our aina, our students and alumni, and our community here at Waiʻanae Moku. Previously known as the Waiʻanae Nanakuli Education Center, Waiʻanae Moku has been servicing our Waiʻanae coast for the past 51 years, carrying out the kuleana and helping our students to succeed in every step of the way. In 2017, we were blessed to finally find a new permanent home in a ili ma'ili in the ahupua of Lu'ulu'ulei. Here's a quick video of our opening ceremony and blessing of our building Hale Kaiaulu and the new Lyric Community College Waiʻanae Moku campus.
As we celebrate the present, I know that each and every one of you here is looking forward to the bright future ahead for Waiʻanae Moku and for the students and the Leeward Coast that we serve.
I can say this is where I'm from. I got an education from where I'm from. I was taught by the people who live out here, from people that I call family, my community.
70% of Waiʻanae Moku student body identify as Native Hawaiian. And the college and the university have a special commitment to meet its indigenous serving strategic planning goals and outcomes.
A second chance at life. I came back to school because I wanted to seek different opportunities for myself, and now that I came here to Waiʻanae Moku, it's opened up doors that I can actually look at different aspects of where I want to go with my life and see where I want to end up.
With this permanent facility, we will be here forever, reaching into the entire University of Hawaii system to understand how we can serve the students and community.
We do have quality education here, and we have quality staff and faculty, and you can definitely seek new beginnings and further opportunities for your education at this university.
Aloha nui kākou. My name is Janai U'ilani Kelly Ikuli, and I'm an associate professor of Hawaiian Studies here at Leeward Community College, Waiʻanae Moku. Today, I join my ho'opili, Christopher Pokipala, as we explore the beautiful coast we both call home. Waiʻanae, with all of her aupua'a, is filled with rich mo'olelo that provide practical and evolving lessons while keeping us proud and rooted in our history, past, present, and future. Mahalo to our cousins at the University of Hawaiʻi Maui College campus who began weaving the ka'au of Maui Pua in their presentation. We'd like to continue some of that discussion with the Maui of our coast, where he was born in the aupua'a of Lu'ulu'ulei. Please join us as we visit our geographical and geological features of the aina, which embody our mo'oku'auhau, mo'olelo, and mele. E holo holo kākou. As Maui continued to pull up island after island, adventuring through the oceans, he eventually found the place that he called home. For us here at Leeward Community College Waiʻanae Moku, it's taken some years. So please enjoy some images which depict not only the history of our search for a home, but also the different kinds of pleasures that our students have experienced over their time here with us. The Waiʻanae Nanakuli Education Center began operations in April 1970 as part of Honolulu's Model Cities project under the auspices of the Department of Education. In January 1972, the University of Hawaiʻi took over as the operating agency, administering WNEC through Leeward Community College. In 1977, WNEC was fully integrated into Leeward's operations and organization. For 21 years, the center was housed in temporary rental locations, including the Nanakuli Kentucky Fried Chicken, Waiʻanae High School classrooms, the Satellite City Hall, and the old Waiʻanae Hardware Building. In 1991, the center found a semi-permanent residence at the Waiʻanae Mall, leasing a large portion of the two-story office building behind Cathy Inn. The dream of a permanent facility became a reality when the state purchased the 2.5 acres that housed the 38,600 square foot vacant Taikon building on Kulaupuni Street next to Maili Elementary School for $2.5 million in 2014. The legislature then appropriated $3 million for Phase 1 renovations, and then $10 million from the federal government for both the Pearl City and Waiʻanae locations, some of which was used for Phase 2 work. Our Waiʻanae Moku Center offers a full range of learning support services and more than 65 credit classes during the fall and spring semesters. Students can complete their entire Associates in Arts degree without ever having to leave Waiʻanae. When we're talking about our coast, I often think about our Maui stories, because from the moment you drive into Nanakuli and then you're coming Maili into Waiʻanae, going all the way out to Makaha, we have like all of these land formations.
Right.
And they reflect all of our Maui stories.
Right.
But, sometimes I'm wondering, when I was growing up, I didn't think about all of the details. And so, what did you hear when you were growing up?
When you think of Maui, you think of the island Maui, like, oh yeah, Maui is from Maui, there's no questions asked. But then, and for me, I always grew up, when I always thought of Maui, I always grew up with the song, Hawaiian Superman from Brother Is, who's a Hawaiian boy too. So, listening to the Mo'olelo, you're thinking, as a young kid, teenager, oh, it's just like there's a Hawaiian and a Superman cape, kind of idea. But it wasn't until maybe in the college where I started learning Mo'olelo, only because more people want to have me teach the community. Right. So talking to these kupunas and actually telling me oh, Maui is from Waiʻanae. I'm like, wait, what? How? That doesn't make sense. Maui's from Maui. That's why the island of Maui is named after him, right? One story is, we had our cousins from Maui College sharing their mo'olelos, but they mentioned too that Maui is very different from every island. Mm-hmm. And so, cousin of Waiʻanae, I claim that Maui Akalana, to be more specific, is a Waiʻanae boy.
Right. And
there, as you mentioned, there's a lot of our aina that tells his mo'olelos as well. Aloha, good morning. Welcome to our little holo holo session for today as we journey through the Waiʻanae coast. Today we're going to take you to two sites to talk about mo'olelo, pili to this aina. First we're going to go to Ulehava to talk about Maui Akalana, and then we'll head to Kulaʻilaʻi to talk about Laʻilaʻi back there. So hope you enjoyed today's holo holo, and mahalo for joining us. So here we are at Ulehava. This is the birthplace and kind of the residence of Maui Akalana, where you grew up. Here at this beach, this is where it was told that Hina, Maui's mother, was swimming, and when she came out of the ocean, she found a red cape malo that she used to dry off, without knowing that that malo belonged to Akalana, the rooster god. And therefore, she became Hapai, and she gave birth to Maui. Across the highway over here, there's a village area where we have the Pohako on Maui, which is believed the birth site of Maui. We also, Ulehava area is also told that this is where Maui and his brothers left the shore area to go out and fish out the islands. This is one of the areas that's shared that this is where they went out. And then past Pu'uhulu here is an area called Maili. And behind this mountain there is a area called Ma'iapalawa, which is believed where Maui discovered fire from the Alai'ula.
On the actual Lualualei side of Pu'uheleakala, there's a nice number of caves. It's said that the cave of Maui's mother, Hina, is located there. If you climb down the face of the Pu'u, there's a freshwater spring right there. This would probably have been where Hina would have soaked her woke before beating it. The reason Maui took it upon himself to risk burning himself by battling the sun was so that his mom would have enough time to dry her kapa. The layout of the Aina still preserves this story of Maui beyond a simple hero. From Ulehava, if you look at Pu'uheleakala, it tells the story of Maui's actual birth. There's a roundedness to the hill, like an egg, which is how Mo'olelo says he was born, as the son of a rooster lineage. He breaks out of the egg. So right under the overhang of this street light, if you look carefully, you can see the beak of Maui the rooster breaking through the shell of his egg. As you drive up Haikimo Road, more of the geographical features that outline the development of Maui Kupua on the Waiʻanae coast reveals itself. Maui continues to cover our coast in Maili. Here from Kaukama Road, as we look into Ulu'ulu'alei toward Waiʻanae Valley, we see Hina the Baler. In this story, Maui's on his journey to fish up the islands, and his brothers are paddling the canoe for him. Po'opa'akiki, he's hard-headed and takes the gourd baler with him despite his mother's warning. From the baler emerges a beautiful woman who distracts his brothers from their task, allowing the islands to fall away. As a child, the story might tell you, listen to instructions and don't touch. As a teenager or young adult, it may be a lesson of how beauty and attraction can be distractions that keep us away from our goals. But as we get older and hopefully more mature, this story can be a lesson on how we need to handle our tools skillfully so that we don't drown.
So when I think of Maui, he's just this superhero. He just, shows up. But if you start in Nanakuli, Lualualei, we have our Pu'uheleakala.
So a lot of people get confused. It's Haleakala, but when you look at Mo'olelo maps, it's Heleakala. Which, another way, it tells the story of Maui when you look at different variations of what Heleakala means. Because I think for the longest time, we always thought Heleakala is like a pathway of the sun. But other interpretations Kupuna had is that Hele also means to snare. It's a snaring of the sun. Well, I was like mind-blowing because there it is. That's the whole story. That's a main part of the story of his accomplishments, right? What he did there.
Because, when you look at it, right, we grew up, the story was he caught the sun at Haleakala, the house of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that is the more familiar detail of the story, you start to think, oh, maybe they got it wrong when they put Heleakala. Or maybe, you start to question all these things, but you dig deep into our Olelo and you realize, oh, the Kupuna actually told us the story when they gave the name. Yeah,
right.
To snare.
Right. And it makes sense either way, because the Heleakala, you think, oh, that was a path of the sun, so Maui had to climb the Pu'u to be in the path of the sun, yeah? But that totally brings like a different, I guess,
the beauty of kauna, right?
Right.
Because it meets both the path, but also the ensnaring of the sun.
Exactly.
So smart, yeah. Our kupuna are so smart.
It's so smart and so innovative. I think, you know, we look at place names too. I know we're kind of going off topic, but we go at place names too. Like, you know, I think that's what the importance of place names are, and that's why we use these, you know, Maulis of these places, such as like Ulehaba. Did you always think of Maui as kind of like a Kolohe kind of boy, typical Kolohe boy?
Kolohe boy, yeah, Waiʻanae through and through.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think when you hear the word Kolohe? Because I think when I grew up, it's always like, oh, you're not listening, you know, play around, just do whatever you like, which I think has like a little negative turns with it. But
like
there's
negative
another
context.
There's another context with it as well.
Right. So I teach Hawaiian studies, and one of the things that I like to impress upon my students, especially the ones from the Waiʻanae coast, is that when the word kolohe is used, especially in our community, you can see the kupuna like smirk a little bit, or you know, they get with a hidden smile when they describe their mo'opuna as, oh, he's so kolohe, or she's so kolohe. And so you have to question, like, how come they're smiling? What's the smirk about? And so when you read the stories, mischievous, marvelous, magical Maui, the kolohe-ness is actually looking at his willingness to go outside the lines of, you know, safety and rules, right? Like they're being called kolohe because, you know, they're breaking the rules, right? They're not listening.
The standards.
And, yeah, the standards that are set, the expectations. But because he didn't stay in those lines, right? Because, you know, he went and he asked his grandma, you know, I like catch the sun. You know, he's taking the steps to go outside of the safe establishments to try and accomplish what turns out to be really great things. Yeah, things that end up helping the community.
Right.
When we talk about being kolohe and innovative, it really takes a creative mind to accomplish these different tasks that Maui did, from slowing down the sun to saving his mom from the mo'o to traversing the oceans. It takes a mind that can accrue all of the right tools and really organize everything that is needed, step by step. And so at this moment, I'd like to showcase one of our former Leeward Community College students and also a kupa of Waiʻanae, who has really forged his own pathway in education and uses his skills of hula, his real knack for enjoying life, and sprinkling some of his kolohe-ness into several TikTok videos that he created during the pandemic. And so his skills in education and really being entertaining at the same time, he gives us a little bit of a respite from the heaviness that the pandemic brought to many of our lives. And this covers topics like good housekeeping, a little bit of personal beautification, and mental health. Enjoy.
Hey guys, I wanted to share a creative idea with you. I have to wear this in my classroom to teach, looking like Buzz Lightyear. But I wanted to make mine a little bit more fashionable. Let me show you how to do it, just to make it look fun. Step 1, you're obviously going to need a shield. Step 2, you're going to put your sticky Velcro onto the forehead of the shield. I put the hook part here because, you know, she rests like that around the edges. Step 3, you're going to have to get lace or lace po'o in my case, and you're going to have to turn it around and you're going to sew it to the back here. Look at that stitch work, look at that. And number 4, dress to impress. There we go. Make sure you're smiling. Smile. What is this? T-Rex hula. Out. Uwalava uwapau. And so am I.
And it's funny because even us here on the Moku, we're always asking our students, oh, how can we do better to serve you, you know? Because we always think it from our directions, oh, what worked for us. But that's the important part when working as a community, is always asking them, what do you want? How do you want to do it? Because there are different ways. You know, we want that kalohiness.
Yeah.
We want that way to look outside the box, outside the rules, where we can better serve our community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better serve our Mauis.
Yes. Our students, they're all their own different Mauis,
yes,
coming from like backgrounds of challenges and strifes to try and figure out, you know, where they want to go. So we see Maui with his brothers, and you know, they're paddling their canoe out further and further so he can pull these islands out. And so like the further we go from these established pathways, you know, sometimes it can be really scary. I can just imagine our ancestors, you know, traversing the whole ocean that covers a third of the planet. And it has to have been like anxiety inducing, but also a sense of excitement with the potential of what they're going to find. And so like his kolohenes took him beyond the fear of facing the ocean to the point where he's this navigator who finds all of these islands, and they're stories of all Oceania. So, you know, we have this common ancestry of adventure, innovation, creativity, and that's what helps us to address all of the problems, you know, working together to find the pathway for each individual Maui we have on our coast. When you think of Maui ensnaring the sun and all of the things it takes for him to get the hook, the cordage that he had to make to lasso around the sun, you know, his grandma really played a big part in that. And so, you know, when you're talking with your students, you're counseling them through all the steps they need to take, you know, what role do you see their families, you know, kind of playing grandma in helping them on their journey?
You mean in the college setting?
Yeah.
So it could be challenging at times. I think Ohana's always are there to give aloha its support. You know, I think no matter what, they always want the best for the keiki. Now, in the college setting, a lot of our students are first generation. Yeah, so I talk to those parents, letting them know, like, you know, I know a lot of our Ohanas don't have that college experience to share with their keiki. You know, oh, this is what I did, this is how you do it, this is how you do FAFSA, you know, all that, all those vocab terms that they're not familiar with. The best thing that they can always do is show aloha, first of all, showing support. Because I think students are always doing this for Ohana, and we want to make sure that Ohana knows that and is doing it for them.
Right,
acknowledging that, because we run into situations at times where students like, oh, my mom let me go work, or, you know, dad, you know, I gotta go watch the kids. So we know there's added kuleana in the household. It's totally understandable even for us as well. You know, we're not just a counselor, just a teacher.
Right.
Okumu. So how do we support haumana that have those multiple kuleanas? You know, how do we get them up that pu'u? Either different supports. I mean, talking to them. I mean, talking helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Especially our kane, our mom. You know, they don't have a lot of places to go talk. You know, or they don't know how to talk. Like,
right.
Expressing that feeling, expressing that mana'o, expressing that eha. That, you know, that's not familiar for all these families here at Waiʻanae. So letting them know it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to push. You know, that's totally fine. We're now heading north Waiʻanae to the Ahupua of Makua Kahanhaiki to visit Kula Ila'i. We'll share more mo'olelo about that area, including our deity of La'ila'i.
Oh, so one of our great valleys on our coast is Makua Valley, and it's named after Papa Awawaleiākea, right? So Papa, Hana Moku, Earth Mother, she is all of the curves and the movement of the valley, but parked right in the back is always dismissed. And everybody thinks that when they come to Waiʻanae, it's going to be dry and hot. And don't get me wrong, it is hot, but there is also water. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hot, but there is water. And so there's this permanent mist in the back of the valley. And so that is Makua Valley, where it is said Earth Mother and Sky Father come together to give birth to the islands. And right down makai of the valley, there's this pohaku, right? Kula Ila'i.
Kula Ila'i. So aloha, welcome to Kula Ila'i in the Ahupua of Makua. Right behind us, as you can see, this is a very distinct pohaku that we have behind us. And this is the actual Kula Ila'i. So in our mo'olelo, in the stories of the Kumulipo, when these Hawaiian islands were created, La'ila'i was the first deity to come down from the heavens to kind of explore Hawaii, to make sure that it was ready for Kanaka. So the story here in Waiʻanae is that she came down from the heavens and landed on this pohaku. So that's where we get to say Kula Ila'i, meaning the pedestal of La'ila'i. She stands on top of the pohaku. She looks out to the valley, and there's Aina over here. Kind of awe how gorgeous it is, yeah. Pretend all this kiawe wasn't here before, but looking back then, you can see this whole view of the valley and seeing Ko'iahi, Kahanhaiki, over there, Kaena, and just in how all this beauty is. And this is where she knew that Oahu was ready for Kanaka to come. So this is Kula Ila'i.
One thing that I think is beautiful and unique about our campus is that students are so comfortable here. It's not just a place they see as where to take classes. It's also a safe haven to access resources like our computer labs, just to have, consistent Wi-Fi connection, or even have conversations. They can access the librarian, the tutors, and because all of the resources are here, they feel comfortable enough to pursue their education in an academic way, but also in a social way. And that really reflects the Hawaiian concept of learning. Learning isn't just a cerebral thing. It's also something that has to be emotionally connected, which is why our huaka'i are so important.
My name is Summer Shimabukuro, and I am the Community Outreach and Transition Specialist here at the Waiʻanae Moku Center. And what we have going on here is our 10th annual International Week. It's the largest event that our campus hosts in the spring semester that really brings students and their families together. So what you're seeing here is an outcome of, at least 50, 60 students and 17 faculty and staff that have been working for the past 2 months to put together presentations around their cultural identities, projects around things that explore international relational issues. And so they're getting ready right now to share what they've been doing in school with the community and family members that are coming.
First, I had to change my rethinking my brain of my old self, which was hard. So I'm in school now today. So now I gotta stay focused, bounce back stronger, and that's what I'm gonna do. Learn about myself. I learned how to love myself, which is the biggest part that throughout my whole life I didn't know about myself. But today I love myself, and that's what I've learned in the class. How the things that I can do, which is push forward in learning things that I don't know.
Aloha, I am Hijin Sergi. I teach math. Tonight, my daughter will play gayagun, that is Korean traditional music instrument.
Bringing all those cultural aspects together was really important. I feel for the students who may not have experienced certain cultural things that maybe they've never seen or heard of before, which I feel like was really cool and good for the school as well as the community.
Kind of impossible task to take down a whole kala, the sun, you know. But when I was Kiki, I was like, how the hell does that happen, you know? You can get burnt and everything, right? You know. But it's possible, you know. And it was a lesson learned from those mo'olelos too. I think like when I teach Kiki about that mo'olelo, I was like, oh, this is why the sun goes fast half a year and why it slows down half a year. Yeah, based on the agreement he made with Kala. You know, Maui's the one that builds the seasons. Maui, you know, the story of Mo'ola, Maui putting the islands, it's also a paradigm to navigation, our stories of navigation, you know, where a lot of our kupuna looked at Manaya Kalani, the fish hook, you know. We always think of the fish hook putting the islands, but in a navigation sense, you're looking at Manaya Kalani, a star line. You know, as it gets coming up more, you see it starts seeing the islands pull out. So right there, it's a building relationships, yeah, with our people, with our kupuna, with the aina, how they tell you stories, yeah. Because I think it's fascinating more. I mean, it's better than just saying, oh yeah, we followed the star line, found the islands. Like, no, Maui was there to cool them out with his fish hook.
Right.
Which is why we still know that mo'olelo today.
I mean, it fits into our culture of the ocean, right? I mean, our ancestors have been fishing for thousands of years. And so, I mean, you're sitting around the fire, you guys are talking about your catch of the day. And so, you know, what's going to fit into the trajectory of that storytelling? You're going to say, you caught one fish that big. I caught one island. You know what I mean? And then it becomes part of the natural flow of our stories that this is how we found our islands with the hook. Because, I mean, if you told me it was with a wand, we don't have wands, right? It's using the appropriate sort of metaphors that fit into our world already. And then, I mean, millennia later, we still have the same story because it still fits.
It still fits. It makes sense. Yeah. It still blows our minds. Through our discussion of the Mo'ola Mauia Kalana, we recognize that one of Maui's greatest attributes, as a result of being kolohe, was his boldness in taking risks accomplishing nearly impossible tasks to care for his ohana and community. The very nature of Maui is exemplified by our Waiʻanae Moku students today. Many of our haumana take the risk of entering college with limited support and little to no knowledge of the expectations necessary to acquire more opportunities for themselves and their ohana. Our goal here at Waiʻanae Moku is to help mitigate those risks and to provide a space for students to feel comfortable and contentment, just like Kulaʻilai. One way we do this is through our unique student support programs. Here's our Title III Program Coordinator, Rick Kang, and his students to talk about their journeys through and because of the G2FO and ATE cohort programs.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Rick Kang. I'm a program coordinator at Leeward Community College, Waiʻanae Moku, and I have two exciting programs that I'd like to share with you today. The first program that I'd like to share with you is called the Going to Finish on Time program, or more affectionately known as G2FO. So this program looks to recruit 40 students each year. It's a cohort program, so before the semester starts, we meet in summer and we have an orientation where all the students get to meet each other, they get to meet the instructors, they come to know all of the resources available to them on campus, and then when the semester starts, they share some of the same classes, they participate in off-campus outings and activities to help them learn more about the wonderful, sacred, and beautiful sites located on the coast. This is a program that has a lot of benefits and incentives as well. So we have textbook loans for our students. We have peer mentor support. They have their own dedicated counselors and advisors. And we have merit-based scholarships. So they can earn up to $2,000 worth of scholarships just for compliance in the program.
I am a first generation college student. So at first it was very scary. I was really hesitant and anxious about, what college life was. I didn't have somebody I could turn to and ask, hey, what is college like? How do I register? How do I apply for scholarships? And things like that. So it was really nerve-wracking, but when I attended here and as I joined the G2FO program, I was very supported. I had a lot of support from my peers, from my counselors, even my peer mentors. So I had a lot of people there that were with me along every step of the way.
G2FO has played a big role in my journey here in LCC Waiʻanae. It's helped me gain new friends. It's helped me financially with covering book costs and giving me a scholarship that will help me.
Ever since I, entered the program with G2FO within the Waiʻanae Moku campus, it has changed my life. If it wasn't for them, I promise you I would not be back in school. And it's helped me so far, and honestly it's the main reason why I'm graduating this semester, is because it helped me stay on track and it helped me keep track of my credits so that I knew what I was doing and I knew how much credits I had left and I knew how much semesters I had to keep going. And it wasn't as, scary as you think, like for me, I thought, oh, wow, full-time, 15 credits every semester? I don't think I can do this. But I put my mind to it and, I said I can do this.
G2FO helped me overcome those fears, worries, and challenges because the peer mentors are legit. The peer mentors are awesome. The staff is awesome. Any question that you could ever need, you can go to them, the counselors. Anything that you could possibly need throughout your whole time here in college, G2FO is that place you want to be.
So the other program that we have is called the ATE program, or Access to Education. And this program was created in 2014, and it is specifically for students who have been previously incarcerated, or who are children whose parents were incarcerated, or have siblings that were incarcerated. This program is also created for students that have been or are currently in foster care or have been adopted, for students that have substance abuse issues and problems that are in recovery and looking to better their life.
The ATE program helps tremendously. Because I am a survivor of the trafficking and I also did drugs, there's a different dynamic that comes into play.
you tend to judge yourself more. And at times you feel so weak. And ATE offers you that support, that extra support that nobody else offers. They come in and they just help you with everything that you need, your classes, even talking to you, like that pep talk, letting you know that it's going to be okay. There's books that we don't have to pay for.
When I first came to Waiʻanae Moku, I was a little bit nervous. When I walked into the campus, I was like, wow, with all the younger generation that was here. But as the time went by, I got comfortable, and because I have anxiety, the extra help through the ACE program got me comfortable, made me more comfortable, to where going from part-time, I'm a full-time student now. My anxiety still gets to me, but then that's where the ACE comes in. I get the support from them, not only with school, but outside of school as well. This is my wife, Sarah Gaspar. Being that we have a teenage daughter getting ready to graduate this year, and we have a son who is going to be 7th grade, it kind of encouraged her to also join me in school as well.
What brought me here, kind of inspired me, was my husband. And he's been in college for a few semesters now, and you know, in the beginning I was nervous. I was like, this is not for me, being that I dropped out of school at a really young age. But just to show my children that they can do it, you know, get your education, I decided to take that step and come back to school.
Leeward Waiʻanae Moku, the family environment, the help that I get pushes me forward. And I found where I wanted to go, and the why came up was because I wanted to help people like me find some kind of direction, find some kind of purpose in their life, which I have now. My direction is to have that ambition to learn more, to learn how can I help the next person, how can I help people like me, how can I help people who want to change their life. Because that's where it starts, from changing.
Wayne will be graduating with his Associates of Arts in Liberal Arts, as well as his certificate in substance abuse counseling.
Wow. My experience in Waiʻanae Moku was one that I'll never forget, because, you know, when I first got there, it was after like over 20 years incarcerated, and I walked into that school. I didn't know what to expect going to college, especially after leaving prison and being homeless, and you know, just experiencing life from a real different view. And age is this one number. You know, it's never too late to learn. Yeah, like the kupuna we share with me, you know, no matter how old we get, we always got to remain teachable. And when we remain teachable, the teacher will appear. Yeah, because I can even learn something from the Opio and the younger generation. And that's what
So if this is something that you or you know someone that might benefit from this program, that want to get into a certificate program or a vocation, or looking to get a 4-year degree and looking to just better their life through the gift of education, please do contact me.
As a community college, it's imperative for us to develop and invest in a network of community organizations in order to provide unique opportunities for our students to grow even further outside the traditional college classroom. For the past 15 years, Ma'o Organic Farms has partnered with Waiʻanae Moku in integrating the Kauhale Youth Leadership Training Cohort. Participants of this 2-year program work 16 hours a week on the organic farm and at the farmer's market, gaining real-life skills and grounding themselves in the value vital to organic food production, community health, and aloha aina, while receiving tuition assistance and financial support and to help obtain their college degrees. Here is Waiʻanae Moku student and risk taker Ethan Kawa'ahau Gomaban to share his voice and experiences while being part of the Kauhale YLT cohort.
First and foremost, I'd probably say my family.
just because they've sacrificed so much for me and they've worked their whole lives for me. So, you know, I think this is a good start to head in the right direction to kind of repay them, I guess you could say. But also what, you know, the practice of Aloha Aina teaches you a lot of lessons, and I feel like over here it's taught me a lot of life lessons, like how to work in different environments, how to be adaptable, how to work with different personalities. You know, there's a lot of life lessons that you can learn over here. And, you know, that keeps pushing me because I know that as time goes on, I'll grow as a person and I'll become more stronger. And then in the future, you know, when different obstacles, they come into my life or something, it'll just be easy because, you know, I went through so much and I really learned, and, you know, I've just kind of become war hardened, I guess you can say. But yeah, it's been, you know, this place is really a place to learn and grow and become what you want to be. Mai hopo hopo e ai pono.
There are many more mo'olelo to share about our students in Aina than the time we are permitted today. If you would like to learn more about the Leeward Community College Waiʻanae Moku campus and our programs, please visit our website at leeward.hawaii.edu/Waiʻanae or email us at waiʻanae@hawaii.edu. Mahalo nui loa for joining us for this installment of He Ukana Aloha Kā Kīlauea. We conclude this showing with the stories of two of our students, Tami Aiwohi e Leilani Yahiku, e Malama Pono Aloha Aina Kākou.
In all honesty, I didn't even realize there was a campus here. And the way I found it was funny. I was at the gas station and I saw the sign. I saw it for a couple weeks and then I decided, okay, you know, take the chance. Because I was homeless when I decided to come to school. Knowing that, wow, we got college right here. I can make one change in my life, you know. And then I see the students around at campus. They all look like one big family, yeah. And so I thought I needed that change, and it took a while, but like I said, I went through that doors, and it was the staff, the way they greeted me, that actually made me feel better about myself. It made me feel like I was in the right place.
So what amazed me was when I actually started going to Waiʻanae Moku campus, I realized that it was a family feel. I was comfortable. Immediately I had people helping me. The teachers were amazing. The students were amazing. We ended up building a bond. It became family instead of your classmates.
Waiʻanae Moku in the community, it has a tremendous positive impact on the community. You walk into these doors and it's not like you're stepping out into unfamiliar grounds. You're right here in your own backyard, and that gives them a sense of pride in their own community. So I think that's really important, especially for Waiʻanae.
A lot of us grew up with this stereotypical view of we're just Waiʻanae people and we can't go far. All we're gonna do is this and that's it. When I first started, I had to get my grades from high school and I wanted to cry. I was embarrassed. I had F's and D's and I barely graduated. Today I'm on the honor roll. I'm in Pi Theta Kappa. And if it wasn't for the Leeward Coast Waiʻanae Moku campus giving me a try, I would have never known what I was capable of. And that's why it's so important for our community to know what the Waiʻanae Moku campus offers to us. They offer us a second chance, hope, a chance to better ourselves.
So being able to have this campus has not just broadened, you know, where our youth can go, but it also encourages adults that has been here for their lifetime to want to do something better, to take a chance and invest in yourself and go for it. Just flourish.
For any students who are second guessing because they're afraid, or they think that they just don't have what it takes to go ahead and further their education, I encourage you to come to the Waiʻanae Moku campus. Come down and sit with us. Let us speak with you. Let us show you just how amazing you really are. Because here at the Waiʻanae Moku campus, that's what we do. We let everybody know that there is hope. Everybody can do this. And we're there to hold your hand and pull you through.
Come to Waiʻanae Moku. We got you. We family here. Be part of a solution instead of just keeping your thoughts to yourself. You're worth it.